Ammirato Culture House lives in a fortified structure of the 17th century, and somehow we realized that these walls around the house didn't allow the neighbors to really understand what we were doing. We were always perceived as a private or small, close group. Meanwhile, all we try to do is to open and to socialize and to share what we do and what we have. There is already the local designers, Linfa, Archistart and other people who are interested, and with Ammirato Culture House we will make time and research so they can continue the workshop, especially with the friends coming from the SPRAR. So we asked Construct Lab to help us with an architecture structure and with mobile temporary constructions to build a bridge to overcome this big wall and to enter in the garden.
Mentre il denaro inanimato, morto, dotato di vita. Le risorse umane.
Questo passaggio bellissimo.
This is the...
Domenica Modugno. No, no. Cos'è?
And then the boy who translated is a boy who spoke about...
Giardino Ammirato is both a construction workshop, it's a gardening workshop, but it's also a social experiment. It's an experiment in the ways in which we can create an atmosphere, an environment for broader conversations about what makes up a vital city, what makes up an important cultural hub, and how do we sustain that in a collective way that is not from a top down, but is much more lateral. And so all the artists and the builders and other people who have many different practices and such are here for these couple of weeks.
I'm Alex from Construct Club. Construct Club is born in the idea to bring conception and construction together. So therefore this structure takes over the existing walls and transforms it into something like a display, and towards the outside and towards the inside a functional kind of technic platform, like a scaffolding structure, which will help to use the courtyard space as a performance space.
Era il loro costante punto di sostegno.
And on the other side, this moment of being here 2 weeks, 3 weeks was prepared by a long stay residency of Carla, who stayed here since February and who prepared, took contact with a lot of local initiatives, tried to develop and succeeded to develop a format to exchange on projects who are probably desired or initiatives who want to intervene in the public space around in the Giardino around Casa Ammirato.
Ricca di frutti e di ortaggi da mangiare.
No. Yeah.
What I found the most important was that during our time here in the 2 weeks of building is how just by opening the doors, direct people from the neighborhood that I had been trying to speak to for the last 3 months just came and gave a hand, and I think those are the relationships that are very successful in a way. There's around 10 people that were really engaged in helping us out. And I think what's important is to continue the relationship with the people that's starting the urban garden, the pizza oven, and that just came by and gave a hand and really made the space theirs. And I think that's a good starting point when it comes to these projects.
Porque queremos hacer este jardino para los le piace. One of the main topics was the dog shit all over the space, and people were trying to clean it up and give this idea of the place has to be cleaned. And I was thinking that the most important thing of dealing with this topic is to get to know who are the dogs, who are the dog owners, and why is this happening, why this feeling of public space is not how people feel the connection to public space or the sense of belonging.
There is something that creates the dialogue, that is the occasion of eating. In the case of the aperitivo, for the dogs is the occasion of having the dogs together and the owners to think together. And this is those situations where people think about the space, people understand the usage of the space, but this cannot be from a very straightforward perspective, or somebody knows more than the other about the usage of the space, but it's a consensual situation. It's something that everybody comes to find out.
Reuse it for a new cycle of the lack of the object.
Okay.
Sweet and food.
I always bring the example of cooking because I always it's always a bit difficult, not difficult, but you bring what you know, how the style of the way you cook, the way you put things inside the thing to become something else. But then as soon as somebody else from a different perspective brings this, you have to open up yourself to introduce these new elements that are coming, and at the same time be generous enough to share in an open way as well what you have.
Yeah, and then it's just the same, and we put some like some here like this.
It won't go? No. Wow, so cool.
Part of my assignment has been to work on the fence that divides the garden with the buildings that you see behind us.
Where you're measuring.
Okay.
And when we were here, a little girl approached the fence and wanted to play volleyball, so we started playing from one side to the other. And so that became a way to sort of communicate with the neighbors of the building. We knocked around and asked them to join us here in the garden or to come and just hang out. But eventually we decided to build a volleyball court for her to play because she doesn't leave the gates.
Non penso che ci sia stata poca gente.
my name is Peter. I'm from Holland and I'm a graphic designer. What we've been trying to achieve is sort of tear down this wall, Mr. Gorbachev. Tear down the wall. If you hold it very well, I can go. We developed a dashbao, which is sort of a wall that projects opinions, ideas, multiple voices. And it is sort of a kickstart in the hope that people will continuate this idea. And, so these are all voices from every participant, from people that live here in the neighborhoods. And it has to grow over time, and we'll see what will happen.
Hey!
How many?
As a workshop or as an activity, we are proposing to make a common oven, which the factory is happening now actually. Today we have the help of many people that are actually refugees coming from different countries.
Okay, I can screw.
Avec ça? With this as well?
But we have tried to make an oven that can adapt itself to our to today's uses of common and public space. It's a system of bricks that are not stuck into each other, but that are just assembled by gravity, and they form an oven, but they can be also taken one by one to another place. It looks a bit like a Lego system. And finally, you heat it for a long while. It will keep hot for hours, so it can also be used by bigger groups of people.
And now, boom.
When I think of necessity, it's this question of what are the most urgent struggles that we need to confront, that we need to address. And one of those in a place like Lecce and in places like Guelph, where Musagetes is based, is really again this question of our relationships to each other and how we use those relationships to build something together, to commit to something together.